Right, piriformis syndrome is quite literally a huge pain in the butt, but thankfully you can typically iron this out right at home with just a few simple exercises. Now, what's really going on under the hood here with piriformis syndrome is a very tight, angry, and irritable piriformis muscle. And this muscle connects from the tailbone to the outside of the femur, deep in the glute. And when it gets tight, it compresses this thing called the sciatic nerve. And the sciatic nerve is one of the biggest nerve systems in the body. It runs from the sacrum or the tailbone area all the way down the leg and into the foot. And when it's compressed up right where it exits the sacrum, right where piriformis is, it can literally radiate numbness, tingling, and even pain all the way down the leg. So if you get symptoms of like numbness, tingling, pain down the leg, typically on the outer thigh, kind of the outer calf, sometimes all the way down to the foot and toes, if you get those sciatic kind of like nerve tingling, numbness sensations, it could be caused by the piriformis muscle constricting that nerve right up by the root of where it's exiting the sacrum. And to defeat piriformis syndrome, we need to get rid of this tight, angry tension that's sitting in the piriformis muscle. So the 3 exercises that we're gonna do here is 1, massage. We need the muscle to calm down and relax. Some people respond to chemical muscle relaxers like Advil or topical creams. Like I have a CBD Arnica mix that tends to work pretty well, but the piriformis is kind of deep, so it might not be best for that muscle specifically. So you can use chemical relaxers to get the muscle to calm down, but what I've found works best and is often the only option, especially when the piriformis has been tense and tight for years, is physical, manual, deep tissue massage. And if massage is done correctly, it's gonna break up all of the rigid, angry muscle fiber and trigger points and knots that are in and around the piriformis muscle that are contributing to its tightening and compressing on the sciatic nerve. So the first exercise is going to be massage. And you can go to a professional for this, like PTs, maybe not chiropractors, but massage therapists or physiotherapists, depending on where you are in the world, or whatever you call them. They can typically dig in there with their thumbs or knuckles, kind of right in your outer glute. Some people think it's kind of uncomfortable. You can also try your luck with a lacrosse ball or use the tool I made for this function and others, the QL claw. I really believe that that's the best because it stays sturdy and stable and it doesn't roll around. Like if you're using a ball for this and the ball rolls, you are at risk of the muscle re-tightening and re-spasming if it has a sudden movement like that. So I really love the claw for this. Obviously I'm a little biased because I made it, but if you are hell-bent on releasing your piriformis muscle tension, there's no better tool than this, and check it out in the link in the description. The second piriformis syndrome exercise is to stretch. And the reason we want to stretch after massage is because typically when you have like years of tension in the piriformis muscle, it just can't stretch. You need physical or chemical manipulation to get the muscle primed and ready to stretch. Otherwise, it's just not going to be able to. So after successful massage, which I typically recommend doing maybe once or twice a day for 5 to 7 days to really attack it, get in there, learn your body and learn what feels good and really get the most out of your massage. But for actionable stretches, there's a handful you can do. Here's one you can do seated. All piriformis stretches are going to involve bringing the knee across the body. So I have another piriformis release video on this channel where I do the same movement on my back, bringing the knee across the body, because that's what's going to stretch the piriformis muscle in the deep glute out here. So if you say you work a desk job and you want to get some piriformis length while you're at work, just cross one leg over the other, and you can lean forward or pull the knee in. And depending on how long you've had piriformis syndrome, you might need to accumulate a lot of volume in this position to see real relief. Because like the more time you were in piriformis syndrome and had a tight and angry piriformis muscle, the longer and the more reps it's going to take for you to build length and make any adaptable changes to the muscle. So say you have piriformis syndrome for 2 years, probably gonna need to take about 2 weeks of doing this daily to see like 100% results, but you should see some quicker wins, maybe 50, 60% within just a couple days. Now the last piriformis syndrome exercise is to strengthen in and around the muscle. This is really important because odds are the reason piriformis syndrome developed in the first place was because a lack of strength and endurance in the glutes at one time or another. Like typically when trigger points develop is when a muscle is put under a load or a stress that it's not conditioned to handle. So maybe you went to play a sport for the first time in years and you made a quick cut and then your piriformis locked up, or maybe you tried to lift a heavy couch moving that you knew you weren't primed and ready to do, and the muscle spasmed up to protect. But no matter what it is, if you had more strength and endurance in and around the piriformis, you probably would have been okay in the first place. And the third set of exercises of strengthening are all going to build your resilience and endurance so this problem doesn't come back in the future and gives you more athletic and physical performance benefits as well. So I'll put a card to a video up here where I do a bunch of thorough outer glute exercises, but some great starters for beginners are just fire hydrants and hip abductions. But the fire hydrant and the hip abduction are very low stress. They're a great way to get some blood flow and activation in the outer glute muscles, especially if you've never really worked them before or you know you don't have a lot of strength in the area. That's a great ground floor, safe, pretty much risk-free, barring any like crazy drastic injury, way to re-strengthen the muscle. Once you get a little bit more advanced beyond that, you can work into things like single leg deadlifts and even like skater hops and running. People usually don't think of those as strength movements, but they require a lot of work from the outer glute to be able to hold you upright, and they build a lot of endurance as well. So if you're looking to get to like another level of physical activity, or maybe you already are in really good shape and conditioned, doing things like running or skater hops or jumps are really gonna condition and train the outer glutes to be powerful and build endurance in them, and that's all just gonna provide protection for the piriformis muscle and piriformis syndrome. And one last thing to keep in mind when you're doing piriformis syndrome exercises is that you might develop soreness in this area, and it's important to understand the distinction between soreness, between good productive muscle soreness, and tension that is unproductive and causing pain. So a day or two after doing piriformis syndrome exercises, you might be a little sore, you might be a little stiff, and you might actually not feel that good, but you should overall progress and feel better every couple days or every week. So it's important to understand that distinction. Another thing you can do after your piriformis exercises to minimize soreness and any tension that could develop from working these muscles for the first time in years is to stretch afterward. That's gonna promote length and a little bit more blood flow and activation, and it will help prevent the muscles from tightening after strengthening exercises, which just tends to naturally happen sometimes. So yeah, that is all I have on piriformis exercises for now. I wrote an article on this as well, so check out that in the link in the description, and check out Claw, which in my biased opinion is by far the best piriformis muscle massage release tool ever created. I kind of created it for that function and a handful of others. But yeah, appreciate you watching. Check out other videos on this channel for more, and we'll see you in the next one.